my name is Amanda De Leon, and I'm conducting a research on the early college program. My research question is, are the early college students receiving the same education as UTP college students? I'm technically worried about the subject because what I have gathered from my sources is that when early college student graduates from the early college program, they graduate with both a high school diploma and either an associate's or 60 credits, 60 hours towards your master's. Um, this means that when a student enters college, they should already know like, all of the core classes like English 1301, they should already know everything about English 1302. And when I was in high school, I took AP classes. All of my classes were advanced. And everything that I learned in my very challenging classes that I had in high school have nothing to do with what I have learned here in college. And for example, my AP English class, my teacher would always tell us, all the students that we would have, she would tell us, everything that you're learning in this class is exactly what you're going to be learning in college. And I'm actually, the teacher would say, I'm actually putting you through more hard work than you're actually going to have in college. And when I had to enter English 1301 because I didn't get credit for that AP class, I thought, oh, this is going to be a waste of time because I'm already going to know all of this. But it was completely different, my English 1301. All we did was research, and nothing that I learned in my high school had to do with college. And actually, my last semester I went to go talk to that teacher that I had as the English teacher, and for research I did an interview on that teacher, and then she's like, oh, all you do in college is research, right? I'm like, yes. And then I thought to myself, like, this teacher was the one that told me this is what you're learning in my class is what you're going to learn in college. And after I graduate now, she's like, oh yeah, all you do in research is college. Sorry. This was like, wow, I didn't learn. And everything that I learned was kind of nothing because the curriculum is not the same. All that I learned is not the same. But what I did get from my concurrent enrollment classes, my advanced classes, was the push, and I think this is what is going to help your college students, that the push for them to succeed, the need to want to succeed, is going to help them. But the curriculum itself and what they're learning is not college material. And that's why I worry that these kids that they're going to be lost. I was very glad that I didn't get credit for that AP class, and I was able to take English 1301 because now I understand that I would have been very confused. Just like I think these kids from the early college program are going to be confused. They're not going to have the opportunity to, maybe they want, but I doubt that they're going to want to retake their core classes. They're just going to go right into their towards what they want to, like their career courses. And I think they're not going to know how to do a proper research because they didn't get that information. Like I interviewed a college teacher, and when she told me that they learned the English here, she said that these kids work on the practices of also writing and reading assignments. These kids have to meet the high school requirements, which is the work for AP, which I think is not good. They still need to review things for the STAR, that is monitored by the state, and they also need to fulfill the college type of work. And all of this together, how can these kids get college education if they have like 3 things that is their curriculum? They need to do the STAR, and they need to do AP, and they need to do also college work. So all of that put together, I think, is not a proper English 1301 education that they're getting. And then the teacher responded, and then I asked her, Miss, as one of the interview questions, have you and your students written any research papers? And then she said, yes, we review MLA documentation papers where students cite in text where where they found their answer and their answer type. Where they found their answer from a novel or text. Researching is about investigating. It is about reading and interviewing to get a broader sense of what your question is, and then all of the information that you have, you put together, and then you evaluate it. You are selective. You analyze all of your data to get to your findings. And this teacher says that these students have to find the answer in the novel or text, which I'm pretty sure it's not like research, probably just like textbooks. And that's not what researching is. I think it's very what they're doing wrong. I don't know. Um, so to get a broader sense of how students think that researching is about, I am going to compare a interview on the student how she supposedly does the research, and I'm going to also provide an interview of myself with my journal and research that I did. So I'm gonna ask questions and explain the process because she's in 13 I'm doing my research.
Hello, my name is Athena, and I'm a college student. I conducted research in my Spanish 3 Roman class, which is also an AP class. My research consisted of two different other cultures and deciding what aspects of our cultures were different and how uh, research was useful because in our upcoming AP exam that we'll be taking in May, they asked us about comparisons of different cultures and how those aspects impact our lives. So that research we conducted, our teacher thought it was interesting because if we had to write an essay in our AP exam, we knew other cultures to write about. We just didn't know about our culture, which is something that they look a lot. They want you to know in the AP exams. They want you to know about more than one culture, and they want to make sure that you know what you're talking about. For our project, we also had to dress up. We had to dress up as the other culture we're studying, and we had to talk about their foods and how to present in front of the class. It was a difficult task because we also had to make an accent, and that wasn't the easiest thing, considering that we speak Spanish, and making like an Argentinian accent is really difficult. uh, and also the culture that we were researching had to be a Spanish-speaking culture. The accent didn't matter as long as they spoke Spanish. Uh, I got all my information from several books that we read on the country and the culture also. And we had to use Google a lot. It was a very useful resource. If it weren't for it, we probably would have been lost for half of our project.
You didn't have to write anything, like any paper?
Oh yeah, like well, before we present it, you have to turn in an essay to a teacher.
Like how long was your essay?
Essay, I think it was 2 pages long.
And you had to cite where you found everything?
On PowerPoint, we had to cite. Did I say that? Okay. We also had to turn in a 2-page essay to our teacher before our presentation, and so she could revise it and know that what we're talking about made sense. And our PowerPoint, we had to cite all the sites that we used in order to get information, and we got an overall grade. Considering on everything was assigned, something different was assigned to every student. Some people had put together the PowerPoint, other the essay, and others the food and the costumes would be using for the presentation.
What kind of books did you use?
Like the books that we used were talking about going deep into roots of that culture. Like
a textbook or?
No, it was like there's little kid books that it will give you like basic background information. So we started off with those because we thought that the time span that we'd have wouldn't be like enough to read a chapter book or something like that. So we started off with small books and looking at cookbooks from that country, also like how does their culture reflect on their food or their religion or how they dress and stuff like that. That's what we did.
Okay. And for your English class, you haven't done any research?
For our English class, no. English 3 also, the AP Dual class, the STC, and we're learning how to structure essays. That's what we're getting that's where we're really doing essays every day. So.
Okay. I think that's it.
Are you sure? Yeah. Okay. 4 minutes.
Hi, I'm and I'm going to explain a little about the research that I did in my 1301 English class was about. When I first started doing that research, it was very stressful because that was the first time I've ever done a research paper. I never did any research in my high school, even though I was all in AP and advanced classes in current and environment. My research that I chose to do was what were the differences between AP students and regular students from high school. I wanted to know why they were so different and why was there such a gap in between them. Why was it that AP students were getting all of the material and all of the benefits and priorities? They were the ones who were prioritized by the teachers and the administrators. The AP students were the ones who were favored as compared to regular students that were in high school. I only saw this difference because how I was taking AP classes. But my senior year, I decided to take one regular class, and I saw such difference. And I wanted to know why. And what consisted of my primary source, I interviewed two AP teachers and one AP student and one regular student. My secondary sources consisted of 3 research books that talked about the environment, high schoolers, and what were kind of like some signs that regular students would give when they were to understanding. And it gave me a broader sense of how regular classes are the way they are. So when I interviewed the teacher, one teacher, she was an art teacher. She taught AP, she taught regular art. So it was kind of like derivative that I was able to get information from her that she had the experience of a regular class and an AP class, and she could actually see differences between them. In an AP class, what I found out was that students were always rowdy. They were always on their phone. They never paid attention. They would walk out of class. They wanted to buy stairs and all that. And in their AP class, students actually wanted to learn. But for some reason, the art teacher said that it kind of switched. That the AP class was the most rebellious class, even though it was at the AP students wanted to learn and stuff. And she said, no, just by that experience that she said she had, I was able to understand that the environment in which students learn is very important because of her experience with those AP students that were really rowdy and stuff. One student she had, she actually did want to learn that AP class. She actually did want to learn, but the rest of the students were so rebellious that she had to drop out of the class because it was such a hostile environment that nobody was able to learn until she provided one like hands-on activity. That is when students actually were able to start learning and everybody calmed down. She said it was like an instant thing. So I found that environment is very important for students. And another base teacher, she already started teaching regular classes now. Bonus for me too. She talked to me about the differences that she was seeing. She told me that in the regular class that she had to teach in English class, she's like, I was amazed by these students. All they wanted to do was I already assign an assignment and try to explain the word, and these students just wanted to put their head down, they just started talking and started texting their phone. And she's like, I'm gonna send it to Isaiah, I'm gonna get him out of here. And then she would even ask other teachers, are these students always like that? And then all the teachers in lounge were said, oh yeah, that's how all regular kids are. They're like that. Just put up with it for a while. And that comment, the other teachers did, kind of bothered me because it made me think that teachers were already labeling students, regular students, as like, oh, they don't want to learn, so why should we even try like teaching them when we already know they don't want to learn? It's kind of like, leave me alone, and I'll leave you alone. But the teacher, she said no, she makes the students put their heads, she keeps on explaining and repeating the thing, and she was doing this repetition and trying to help them. And so she was teaching these kids wrong when all the other teachers and the regular students just didn't want to put up with it, to go through the word, but like this teacher. And the students were getting more material than the regular students, all of the AP students. In the AP class, the students had access to paper, paint, to acrylic paint, water paint. They had access to all the canvas, all different materials, the paper shades. And then the regular students, their material was just copy paper and broken down, like broken colors, broken pencils. So these students, the regular students, didn't like that anybody was paying attention to them. So they kind of said stop, and they just go on. But maybe it was the teachers themselves that were labeling the students away, making such a gap between independent and regular students. So that's what I found out from my research. And the research paper consisted of 10 papers, and it took me about to write it, not like other papers. It was very interesting and it was exciting, and I also was used to the teachers themselves because the findings that I had that when the regular students were actually, when they misbehave, and these students misbehave, and they search for kind of that means that there's actually they don't understand what was just given to them. So that's their way of kind of avoiding the work, and these teachers misinterpreted it for misbehavior. So that's okay. So thank you for listening to my video about this.